Entertainment Mode Soldier here, and I am back to talk about Star Trek StarFleet Academy Season 1, Episode 10, the final episode of the season, and my thoughts on this episode. So, did the final episode do well? Did it end this on a fantastic note? Did it give Kurtzman another chance to stay in power at Star Trek? No, it was terrible. This episode was boring, annoying, and you know what? I got proven right. Because Caleb's mum gets away with every fucking thing, and it's just, oh my god, are you serious? Now, I will get to Caleb's mum, but you know what really pissed me off in this episode? And it is such a small detail. Maybe not to the writers who thought it would be amazing to do this, but apparently the Doctor is the smartest son of a bitch who's ever lived, because he was able in this episode to achieve what no other race, not the entire Borg collective, not even 7 of 9 could achieve. And the Doctor just did it in a second. And the writers thought that was a fantastic thing to write. And I'm just like, are you fucking serious? Like, are you serious? That's how easy you think it is to do that? Oh my god. Not even the Federation's best scientists could figure this shit out, but the Doctor could. Now, I can't go into major spoilers yet, but if you've watched the episode, you know what I'm fucking talking about. That is just such a stupid thing to write. How the fuck could the Doctor figure that out when everybody else couldn't? And by the way, they don't even talk about it by the end. The Doctor just cured literally every power problem in the universe. Nobody ever needs to worry about power for billions of fucking years now, thanks to the Doctor and how he was able to fix the biggest problem in the universe. Just in a second, and the writers do not bother talking about it again. Oh my god. And this episode, why are we wasting so much fucking time? Why are we wasting so much time with a trial, which makes no sense? Why we're doing this? Why Bracker's doing this? Why he hasn't demanded anything from the Federation? Why we're even bothering with this? It's just, and oh my god, what they do to Bracker by the end of this episode makes his character look like the dumbest motherfucker in the universe, whilst they're trying to portray him as this Napoleon of the universe type. And it's so fucking bad. Oh my god. Are you serious? Are you serious? So that's why he hates the Federation? And that guy couldn't figure that shit out, like, in his adult years? And the way you get everybody to just betray him like that because he's a child? Fuck off. My god. Oh god, the writing is terrible in this episode. There's literally nothing. Like, they already figure out how to win in this episode in the first 10 minutes of the episode. Then it's just about fucking getting to the point of rescuing 2 morons. And then we have the fucking Chancellor bullshit. It's like, oh jeez, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, what? Who is this for? This episode was dog shit. But we have to get to the most important character in this episode, and that's Caleb's mum. Ah, Caleb, I am so sorry for you and your mother, and how she caused the death of somebody, and how we had to continuously just defend that. And how it's just the Federation has to apologise every fucking second because that bitch couldn't take responsibility for killing somebody. And now it's everybody else's fault. Throughout this episode, It's everybody's fault except the bastards who fucking caused their own demise. That's what it was. Oh, this person couldn't get this, so he had to do that, and it caused this. And it shouldn't have caused that, and I should be forgiven for this. It's like, what are we fucking doing here? Why is Bracker wasting so much time in this episode with a stupid fucking trial? There's no need for it. Nobody's asking for this. The guy's taken over the galaxy, which, by the way, I didn't mention this in my last episode, but Bracker, how the fuck did he surround the entire Federation with fucking mines? That would be impossible. Why didn't he just grab a couple of Federation planets and just put a bomb over some of them? That would have been a better plan. But look, fine, he's surrounded the entire Federation with these bombs. And he never goes to the Federation, and I can't go into that, that's spoilers. But God, this episode just pissed me off. So much wasted time that we didn't need to do. Bracker acting like a fucking child to a fucking moron. And just the absolute continuous apologies that we had to listen to Caleb's mum about her own fuck up. This episode was terrible. It was. It's the worst episode of the season. It's not exciting. It's not interesting. It's just literally people's fucking feelings. And how we have to feel sorry for people. And how the Federation is just a terrible group of people. But I will say one thing for this episode. One good thing. They at least tried to give a balanced fucking argument with Caleb's mum. Now, it was the weakest fucking argument you could ever fucking do in this episode, where by the end, the Chancellor was basically still apologising to Caleb's mum, but they at least managed to mention the fact Caleb's mum killed somebody, or at least helped to kill somebody. So they did one fucking thing right. Well, at least try to do one thing right. Was it good enough? Not in my opinion. Why she didn't I can't go into that. That's spoilers again. We've got to get to spoilers. I need to get through this shit. Oh, by the way, I'd also like to mention how ugly and just absolutely disgraceful the Star Trek ships look now. They all look terrible. Like, what the fuck are these designs? Like, by the end, you see the entire Federation fleet, and it just looks terrible. All of them look so damn terrible. Well, I guess Kurtzman, but god damn it, man. Starfleet used to have the greatest looking starships in sci-fi. They were the best looking ships. And now they look like fucking plates. God, fucking ridiculous. So what I give this episode out of 10? 0. A fucking 0. I can't even be asked to give it a minus. Like, that's how much I care at this point. It's just a 0. Am I going to watch this series again? No. I'm just not going to bother. There was only one good episode in my opinion. And that was the second episode. Everything else has been shit. Now, don't get me wrong. There are good characters. I still think Genesis has got her pluses. Caleb has his pluses. You know, the show isn't horrific. Well, actually, it's horrifically bad. But there's potential in some little areas. If it had a better writer, if it had a better director, and I know Franks is involved and he directed the last episode. Look, he's a good guy. I get it. He's a Star Trek actor. He's got to get work somewhere. But I don't care. Listen, there need to be better directors. Better writers. This shit is shit. And it's no wonder that we haven't even heard the announcement of a second season. Even though they filmed it, there is shit online now about that might not even be coming out. I don't know. It may probably still get released. But it is getting very, very suspicious that they haven't announced it yet. So, will Star Trek StarFleet Academy get to a second season? I have got no idea. But by the ratings that we've seen from this show, by the fan, reaction to this show, it isn't looking good. But hopefully, hopefully by the end of this year, we could see the back of Kurtzman and hopefully the end of Kurtzman Trek. Even though there's a rumour apparently going around that Kurtzman's trying to get another series greenlit. Apparently it's called Star Trek 1. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, the people you're going to have to get involved in that are the idiot who looks nothing like Kirk from Strange New Worlds. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, if it does, it's a joke, but I doubt it's going to happen. So, yeah, let's get to spoilers now. Sorry, I just had to go on that tangent a little bit. Look, I hope Kurtzman's fired. I hope he's done. I hope all this shit gets cancelled. And, yeah, maybe we can have some hope for the future of Star Trek with a new showrunner and a new team who actually respects the lore of Star Trek and actually wants to make Star Trek episodes, not this shit. So let's get to spoilers now. If you don't want to hear spoilers, leave in 3, 2, 1. So, this episode starts off with a recap of what happened to Caleb and his mum and how he got arrested, well, how she got arrested for killing, or at least helping to kill, a Federation officer, and all that blah, 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 blah. We want that backstory. We all caught up. That's it. We then go back to the Athena and the Saucer section, where we see the Chancellor meet back up with Caleb's mum, and how she then darts towards the Chancellor, where Caleb has to grab her and stop her kicking the shit out of the Chancellor. Now, the Chancellor comes in basically saying, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry we have to take you and protect you and save you from the pirates. I'm so sorry for everything we've done to you. And then she just goes, I hate you because you're Starfleet. I hate you because you put me in prison for causing someone's death. You know? The fact you got someone killed, that gets mentioned once this episode, and it's by the fucking end. But Caleb has to say, no, Mum, no, we've got to kind of help her because, you know, the galaxy's kind of fucked right now. So she reluctantly agrees, whilst the Doctor's just standing there like a fucking moron, saying, we just got to get ready, you know, calm down, you've just not surgery, but you're recovering from a very bad injury because he just fixed her up. Oh, God, this episode, man. Oh, God. So, they all go back up to the bridge, where they're then, you know, informed about, they sent a message to Starfleet. They can get a little bit of a message through from Starfleet. So, the Chancellor goes off to talk to the Admiral and, what's her face? Klingon Jem'Hadar woman, where they inform her about the situation, where the Federation's completely trapped by Bracca's Omega field, and the Federation can't get out to assist the Athena on stopping Bracca. So the Chancellor kind of asks the obvious question, why can't you send the Discovery to help us? Well, we get the dumbest fucking statement out of the Admiral's mouth this episode, where he says, well, they can't use the Omega device. What's it called? Not the Omega device. The mycelial network, whatever the fuck. The jump capabilities of the Discovery. Apparently, if it uses it, it might get too close to one of the Omega devices and set it off. Okay, Admiral. Then tell the Discovery to jump further away and then come back and help the Athena. But apparently nobody thought of that. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It goes through the mycelial network. It would have no connection to the Omega devices since it wouldn't be affected by it at all. And by the way, should mention that Discovery can jump like entire galaxies. So why can't it just jump a little further out and come back and help the Athena? It makes no sense. I mean, that was the running joke in Discovery times, where we literally said, why the fuck didn't the Federation give this to the Voyager? Because that would have meant the Voyager could have came home like that. Like straight away. My God. They can't even tell their own fucking lore in this show. Like, this is your lore, Kurtzman. This is the rules that you set with your stupid Discovery jump device. This should literally be the easiest thing. Discovery jumps out of the Federation's, area, comes back and helps. Simple. Probably couldn't get cast back for Discovery though, could you? So it was kind of a bit like, well, we can't really use Discovery because the majority of the cast are gone, but we have to explain why it can't be used in the dumbest way possible. Like, Jesus fucking hell. Oh my god. But listen, am I sad not to see Discovery? No, I could do without the ship, but for fuck's sake. Oh god, this episode. So the Chancellor just says, we'll do the best we can outside the Omega mining shit, and we'll try to, sort some way of helping the Federation. And then Caleb's whatever fuck, his mum comes on the bridge, and then we get the Admiral saying, I'm sorry we did that to you. Oh, are you okay? Oh, we're so sorry. The Federation just feels so fucking bad. It's like, for fuck's sake, there are bigger issues here, Admiral, than fucking a bitch who literally got what she deserved, and you just feel sorry for her. Like, shut... Oh my god. Oh my god, this episode pisses me off so much. It really does. Oh my god, I could feel the Discovery days coming right back. Oh, shit. So, they pretty much just tell them to do the best they can. They do the best they can from inside the, Omega shit. And then it gets cut off because the communications being blocked. So, yeah. So, Chancellor just says we'll work together and we'll try to figure out a way. And then they get attacked by Bracca's forces. And the Chancellor just goes like, shit. So they get attacked. A couple of torpedoes get hit. A couple of torpedoes hit the Athena. They then transport on the ship, where Bracca transports on the captain's chair, and just immediately goes Mega Bracca, swearing, calling the Chancellor a fucking moron. He's very shocked to see Caleb's mum on the ship. I mean, yeah, that would be pretty shocking. But he seems to be more shocked with the fact that they're outside his Omega mine block field. That seems to piss him off a lot more. He then demands to know where the rest of the crew is. Oh, I forgot to mention, before Bracca's forces beam on the ship, the Chancellor tells the cadets to go hide in the same area Jaydan and Tamra were hiding last time. And just to wait there until Bracca's gone, like hoping he doesn't blow up the saucer section of the Athena before he leaves. So yeah, they go hiding there. Then Bracca beams aboard, starts slagging off people, starts saying stupid things. And then Bracca, starts to hear an alert saying that the warp drive's going to blow up. And, credit to Bracca, he's like, yeah, this is probably another trap or trick. And just says, like, I don't believe you. But then the engineer from Discovery then says, nah, you did kind of fuck up our ship, so, it is kind of your fault we might blow up. And he just says, I don't really care. We're going to take the Chancellor, Caleb's mum, and beam back to our ships and then blow you to smithereens, where the Chancellor says some, load of shit, and apparently it's a signal to the Doctor about a plan to save the Athena from Bracca. So Bracca beams all his forces back, and the Chancellor and Caleb's mum back to his ships. He then orders his ships to blow up the Athena saucer section, where the Doctor does something with his mobile emitter. It then sinks into the computer, and then Bracca's ship's fire blows up apparently the saucer section of the Athena. Bracca thinks it's done and then leaves, where it turns out no, the Doctor just used his mobile emitter to project a fake Athena outside that looked like it got blown up and apparently cloak the real Athena. Yeah, that doesn't explain how torpedoes would miss the real Athena. That's the problem. Because I doubt the Doctor's mobile emitter has shields. So yeah, you blew up a fake Athena, but how the fuck did it not blow up the real Athena, since you showed in the episode you didn't move the ship? So how does that work, writers? Like, a cloak doesn't turn you in. It turns you invisible, but he can still hit you. So that makes no fucking sense how that worked. But yeah, apparently it does work. The Doctor then comes out of the computer, and his mobile emitter apparently then becomes corrupted. Because then the Doctor starts talking absolute gibberish, where it looks like his mobile emitter has been seriously affected. And he gets taken to the medical bay to get some help. Now, again, I still don't get why the Doctor's being sent to the Medibay when he's a fucking hologram. Like, again, he doesn't need a doctor, he needs an engineer. But apparently Jaydan is the one who's going to help save the Doctor, and Sam's also kind of worried, so they both head down to the Medbay to fix the Doctor. And then we're left on the bridge where the engineer from Discovery then tells the students to get to their positions and move the ship slowly somewhere. I don't really remember where, but they got to move out of the area quick, just in case Bracker decides to actually go and make sure the Athena's been destroyed. So yeah, whatever. Anyway, whilst they're moving out of the area, they come up with a major plan. Oh, actually, do they? Well, they got to figure out how to stop Bracker from sending a signal to blow up all the Omega mines and, you know, completely fucking up the Federation. By the way, they never kind of mention how these devices would absolutely fuck the entire galaxy up. Like, this wouldn't just fuck up the Federation. This, like, they don't seem to understand how bad the Omega bombs are. Like, this isn't just a nuclear bomb. This is like firing 1 billion nuclear bombs in a small area. Like, it's going to go everywhere. Like, this is going to affect everybody. That's why using these bombs is so over the fucking top. Because Bracker would have no control of where these particles, and that's what they fucking are, particles, would go. If you blow them up, they can in fact infect much of the fucking quadrant, not just the Federation. So, what the fuck? It's so fucking stupid. So they come up with a plan to try to figure out how to stop Bracker from sending a signal or finding a way to deal with the Omega mines. So they all go off and do their duties. We then go back to Bracker and his stolen part of the Athena, where he turns the school, again, why you probably shouldn't make a school out of a ship, because, yeah, probably easier to capture a ship than it is a school on Earth. Like, it's so stupid. They do some redecorating the school, which is pretty much set fire to the place and make it look like a fucking drug den, where Bracker decides at this moment, instead of calling the Federation and demanding their surrender and demanding everything he wants, because he's basically got the Federation over a fucking barrel, instead of doing all that, he decides to bring a bunch of random fuckers from the universe who are apparently these powerful leaders or whatever. We're not actually told about these people. We're just told that they're, you know, important people in the universe, who, or at least, you know, representatives or important people of the universe. And what he's decided to bring these people here for, instead of talking about an alliance, instead of talking about taking over the universe, he decides to have a trial of the Federation. And I'm just like, what's the fucking point? You've won, Bracker. You've fucking taken control of the Federation. You completely fucked them. Why are we bothering with this ridiculous trial? Why are we wasting any time? And I remembered, oh wait, they had a trial in the beginning of the season, so they're going to end with a trial that should correct everything. It's just like, oh my god. But why? But why? Why are we wasting any time with this? This doesn't matter. But we just need Bracker to act like a fucking moron to give the crew, what's left the crew of the Athena, time to fuck Bracker's plan. It's so fucking stupid. So he decides to put the Federation on trial, and the person who's going to represent the Federation is the Chancellor. Oh, I should mention the scene before where the Chancellor tells Caleb's mum that he survived, and, you know, she doesn't have to cry about him. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, so she's going to represent the Federation, but who's going to represent the rest of the galaxy? Caleb's mum. Oh no, she's going to be the person who decides the trial. She's going to be the judge, jury, and what I was thinking was also the executioner of this trial. Bracker will represent everybody else. So they have a stupid trial where Bracker mentions about how bad the Federation was during the burn, how his family and his father used to, you know, watch the Federation shuttles fly over with all this good stuff, you know, food and water, and never came to his planet, where his planet was dealing with terrible things and were dealing with hunger and all that shit, and how the Federation just abandoned them to die. And one day his father decided to take matters in his own hands and decided to fire a missile at a Federation starship to finally get some supplies for his people. And how the Federation did not take kindly to one of their ships being attacked. And apparently the Federation decided to fire a fuck ton of phasers and kill his father for attempting to kill one of them. Now, this entire thing just looked crazy to me. Like, the Federation, like, he didn't even take out one of their shuttles, but apparently the Federation was so pissed off, they decided to fire a shitload of phasers at your father and kill him. That doesn't sound like the Federation to me. That sounds like you are completely making this shit up, or there's a much more saner thing that happened. And why that was never really mentioned at the beginning of the trial by the Chancellor, a bit stupid. It is mentioned at the end of the trial, but again, why would you not say it at the beginning of a trial? It makes no sense why the Federation would be that bloodthirsty. If that had been the Klingons, yeah, sure, that makes complete sense. But the Federation? No, that makes no sense. So, that's why Bracker hates the Federation. He blames them for the death of his father and how he blames them for his starvation on the planet. So then we go to the Chancellor for her rebuttal to the charge of, I don't think it was murder, but basically charge of, you know, the Federation being bastards, basically. And the Chancellor just says, well, look, the burn was terrible. Decisions had to be made. And, Bracker, you probably came from a planet that wasn't so bad as other planets. She then says that some planets need to have body bags sent to them because it was that bad. So I'll give them that. And at least tried to put up somewhat of an argument for the Federation, instead of coming out with that outright smart thing of just like, there's no fucking way the Federation would have done that. They would not have been so bloodthirsty. But again, they do mention that, but it's by the end of the episode. Again, why not start with that? But there you go. So yeah, that's what the Chancellor says. Look, it was a terrible time. Decisions had to be made. Some people had to be left behind to save other people. It was a rough time. So, yeah, that's the defence she comes out with. And Bracker just says, how dare you? You left people to die. The great Federation who could have saved us just left us to die. Blah, 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 blah. I'm feeling pissed off at the Federation because I was in a rough spot. Again, it was the burn. There were thousands of planets that were in had major troubles. Like, Bracker, you're not anything special. Jesus. Anyway, then we go to the next. Oh, actually, Bracker brings down Caleb's mum to, you know, do a rebuttal against the Chancellor. But then we go back to the Athena, where the engineer from Discovery then decides to fix the engines with Caleb, and leaves Genesis in charge of the bridge. By the way, they got something wrong in this episode. The engineer from Discovery doesn't like being called captain, even though if you are the highest ranking person on the bridge, you are called the captain because that's protocol. But then she just says, no, that's not right. I'm still a commander. It's like, no, bitch. You are the ranking officer on the bridge, so you're a captain now. Listen, I'm not happy with it either. You've just got to accept the role. But anyway, so she goes down to the engines, fixes it with Caleb, and, you know, Caleb starts having a little sad moment with himself, like, oh, I was going to abandon the Federation and be with my mum, and I feel pretty depressed about that, and I then went to rescue my friends, where the engineer from Discovery just says, no, you're a great person, Caleb, because you came back and saved your friends. You're a good person, Caleb. And I'm just like, oh my god, okay, we get it. I forgot to mention also Caleb's apology scene, and where Genesis just tells him to shut up. That happens. So Caleb's like reassured by the engineer from Discovery that he's a good person. Woohoo! We then get a message from Med Bay that Doctor's still kind of fucked up, and that that Sam is starting to go a bit crazy, so Genesis has to go down there and calm down Sam. So she heads down to Med Bay, and then we get this kind of weird moment between Genesis and Sam, where Sam gets pissed off at Genesis because Genesis seems to miss the old Sam, and that pisses off the new Sam. Like, Sam's just like, I remember that old Sam, she was a moron. I'm not a moron anymore, even though you want that moron back. And Genesis has to say, no, I love the both of you. I love the both of you. I'm a friend. I love... It's just, oh my God. We get it. You're happy that she's new. You're happy she can be who she wants to be. She can be her true self. And apparently that's enough. And Sam's all happy now. But then they finally realise the Doctor's not talking... Well, the Doctor is talking gibberish, but apparently he's saying something that they can kind of somewhat understand what he's saying. Like, he is saying like ridiculous things, but it makes sense if you kind of interpret it in a different way, and it takes a couple of seconds, and then they figure out what he's trying to say. And what he says is how basically the Doctor has figured out how to stabilize Omega. That's right, folks. The Doctor has figured out how to stabilize Omega. The one particle that the entire Borg collective could not figure out how to do, the Doctor has just figured out in a second. Oh my God. I was so pissed off in this scene. And so the plan then changes. Instead of trying to stop Braca from activating the bombs, they're now going to try to stabilize Omega and the devices. And if they do that, they would have beaten Braca. And that's the plan, and they figured out how to do it. And so the plan is now they got to find out where the Chancellor and Caleb's mum is. When we then get the scene between Caleb and Talma, where she has to use her psychic abilities to find their location. So, you know, she's scared at first, tells Caleb, I'm not a superhero, it's not magic. But then Caleb just says, listen, we can come close together, you can go to my forts and find my mother, blah, 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 blah. Go for all this bullshit with them two. But then she then decides to do it. She then tracks Caleb's mum, and they find out where she is, and then they head straight there using warp drive since they have it back. They get there, hide a little position, and then we go back to the trial where Caleb's mum starts to interrogate the Chancellor by basically saying, you're a horrible person because you put me in prison and took my son away from me. And the Chancellor's just like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I put you in prison for doing something terrible and getting someone killed. And she just says, you're an evil person. I hope you die. Well, I hope you die every day. No, actually. No, I hope you're haunted by this for the rest of your life. I want to spit on your grave with you feeling terrible for what you did to me. And I'm just like, bitch, you caused someone's death. And then finally, so then she curses her out, and then says, Cal's mum then says, I find the Federation guilty as charged. And Brack is just like, yeah, look everybody, I just made them have a trial, and I have now said that the trial is now over because Caleb's mum has found the Federation guilty of what? Doing their fucking job? Like, seriously, there's not really any charges brought. There's just like, we don't like the Federation. We think the Federation is bad, so they're guilty because we don't like them. That's it. So then he just says, Bracker going around saying, look everybody, I'm a great person. I found the Federation guilty, or at least gave them a fake trial. So then the Chancellor finally pipes and says, am I allowed to rebut? And Bracker just goes, okay, fine, yeah, you can rebut it. And then we get finally a little bit of fucking pushback to Caleb's mum, where the Chancellor actually brings up the dead crewman that she caused. and says, look, yes, I put you in prison, but you did get somebody killed. Then she mentions the person's name and how he had a family. This was apparently his last job before he retired. Apparently one mission from retirement. Kind of laughed at that. You know, how you caused her death. I mean, his death. And I'm just like, we're finally cooking. She's finally going to challenge her and say, you deserve to go to prison for that. But what does she do instead? I'm sorry we had to do that to you, but you did cause someone's death. But hey, it was terrible times. So let's let bygones be bygones. People did terrible stuff. And that's it. That's the rebuttal. Not that it was the right thing to do. Not that you did cause somebody's death. We don't get the whole, you know, explanation of what happened, which was basically, you know, well, actually, I should mention, the Chancellor did say you caused somebody's death because you gave Braca the ability to access the shuttle, to access the transporter to beam on the shuttle, and you put Braca in the position where he was able to kill somebody. But then we go through the whole, I'm sorry this happened, bad shit happened, sorry what happened to you, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, but you're on the roll there, Chancellor. You were explaining your position well. She caused somebody's death. And yes, she might have not pulled the trigger. Braca did that. But she was the person who got him on the shuttle. She put Braca there. So yes, she didn't fire the shot. But she's the reason he was there to fire that shot. So what the fuck are we doing apologising? She got what she deserved. But yet we still have to apologise for her because what? She's a mother? Fuck off, he's a father who had 2 kids apparently. Does he not matter in all this? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? So yeah, Braca just says, yeah, shit happens, I shot him, she helped me, but you're still guilty of nothing, basically. And he just goes around saying, look how powerful I am. I am now the king of the fucking galaxy. Then they get a signal that a shuttle is coming close to the, well, Athena's school part, where it turns out to be Caleb. Caleb beams on to the school part of the Athena where the trial's happening, and he decides that he wants to have a say in this trial, where he says to his mum, Mum, I had some great times at the Federation. I've laughed so much in this time. I'm happy I'm in the Federation. Yes, you did some terrible things, and yes, you're sad about it. Like, bullshit in my opinion. But look, shit happens. I'm happy with the Federation. Let's all be friends. And Braca, you're a prick, basically. That's pretty much his speech. It's not exactly what he said, but you get the gist. So Braca just says, I don't give a shit what you think. The trial's over. I'm the most powerful guy in the world. And then we get another stupid part of the episode where the Chancellor is able to figure out how Braca's dad died. Because apparently he said the Federation blew his dad to bits. But then she realises, oh, the Federation would never do that. Why didn't you mention this at the start of the trial? Who the fuck would think the Federation would be that bloodthirsty? But then she realises, oh, your father created a weird missile out of gas that your planet was using. And he says, yes. And she says, well, probably wasn't us that killed your dad. It was probably your dad who killed himself when he fired that stupid torpedo. Or missile, whatever. And Braca's like, no, you're trying to change the story here. And it's like, no, I'm using science, Braca. Your dad didn't die because of the Federation, because you said it was red. Then she goes to Caleb and says, how are our weapons red? And he says, no, for about 100 years the Federation have only used blue phasers and blue torpedoes, because apparently the colour matters. Well, it did in this case. And she says, so it couldn't have been the Federation because our phasers are blue, and you said what the blast was caused by was something red. And it turns out it was the gas the dad was firing. So it turns out that Braca's dad and Braca's hatred for the Federation is because Braca can't tell the difference between phaser colours. I'm just like, what the fuck? Is that the only reason he hates the Federation, because his dad died? Or could it be because the Federation might have left him to die of starvation? Or the countless other things they might have left him to die with? Like, this can't be the only reason he hates the Federation. But apparently so it was. And then she says, look everybody, this guy's a fucking moron who acts like a child and is still acting like a child because of a childhood experience. Fucking hell. And apparently this is enough to turn the whole galaxy against Bracker. And they all just abandon him at this point. And Bracker just says, how dare you, I am not a child. And then he starts going, no, don't leave, no, I'm still a powerful guy. By the way, he's still got access to these nuclear bombs over the universe. And instead of just pressing the device in frustration, he just starts to go on this monologue of just saying, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to take down the Federation. Instead of just pressing the fucking button, giving the crew of the Athena enough time to send the signal to stabilise the Omega particles, which they do. And by the time Bracker fucking presses the button, which again he could have done at any time before they stabilised Omega, he just presses it and it doesn't work. The whole of the field is shut down because they are all stabilised, and by the way, have now got power for trillions of years for the amount of bombs that Bracker would have to use to cover the entire Federation in this shit. He is now finished, and the entire Federation fleet jumps in with the terrible looking ships, and Bracker then has to surrender because a bunch of Federation security teams beam on the ship, take over take his entire crew prisoner, and Bracker then gets arrested. He then gets a slap from Calib's mum, which is apparently powerful enough to dislodge a tooth, even though it looked weak as fuck. And then Bracker says that was a weak ass punch, and then the Chancellor comes in and punches him in the face. And yeah, Bracker just walks off saying, you're going to remember me, and blah, 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 blah. And then, that's it. Crisis averted. They head back to Earth. Or no, actually, they head back to Beta Z to do the whole ceremony thing, where Caleb's trying to get out of the ceremony for some reason. He then says goodbye to his mum, because again, remember, she gets to go scot-free for causing the death of a Federation officer, because it's just not her fault, you know? It's just not her fault. Bracker killed the guy. I mean, she just did nothing wrong, people. How dare we call her a criminal? Bullshit. So she asks Caleb to come with her. He says, no, I'm going to stay in school. And she says, yeah, that's great. And then they say goodbye to each other. And then we just end on a, stupid fucking, well, everything went all well. We're going to keep going to school. And that's it. The end of the episode. I mean, fucking hell. We didn't get some weird fucking credit scene with the cast baby pictures for some reason. I don't know why. That just really kind of weirded me out. Like, why are we seeing their baby pictures? Like, what the fuck? Oh, God. This was a terrible season. It was. This is no good. Look, I liked one episode, and that was just episode 2. The rest of the season has been total shit. It just has. Do I think this will get a season 2? I'm 50-50 right now. Because it has got barely anybody watching it. It's badly written. The acting's not fantastic either. That is a major problem as well. And I think Kurtzman's done. And I think if Kurtzman's fired, I just don't think Paramount's going to waste the time. If I'm being honest, it's going to cost money to put this on the air. It's going to cost money and adverts and shit. And I was like, why are you wasting it if nobody's going to watch it? Like, at the start of this season, they put it on, YouTube free and it barely got any viewers. So, look, I don't know if it's going to get a second season, but for me, this show was not a good idea. I am still pissed off that this is what we got instead of Legacy. Legacy should have been the show we got. It just should have been. That show had potential. That show could have lasted a very long time and could have done major fixes to the franchise and would have brought back some people. Probably not everybody yet, but it would have done some repair work. So look, it is a 0 out of 10 for me. The series as a whole, only one good episode in my opinion. That is not good for a show. Yes, some of the cast is okay. Genesis, Caleb at some points, but the majority of the cast is bollocks. The Chancellor, hippie bitch she is. I mean, she's just not a good lead character. She should not be in charge of this school. J. Don, I mean, all his personality is an idiot Klingon who's gay. That's it. Tamara, I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know. She's not there long enough for me to give a shit. What else? Who else? Darum. Again, a gay guy who's just there. And he got some episodes, okay, but enough growth in my opinion, not really. And Sam? Oh, not a good character, but look, they did change the character, but by the end of the season, it's just terrible time to do it. They should have done it either at the 5th episode or the 3rd episode. Don't keep making this character be this shit. So, yeah, Sam's not a good character either. So the majority of this cast is crap. It's not their fault, it's bad writing. But at the end of the day, the series is as good as the writers, and the writers just aren't good. So, do I think the season 2 is probably going to come out? Probably. But I think that's it. I think this show is cancelled either after this season or next season. But we ain't getting anything new from this cast. And maybe that's a good thing. But hopefully, by the end of this year, Kurtzman will have been fired, or at least contract will not be renewed. And maybe we'll get better Trek through people who actually care and love the franchise. But that's the end of my review. If you like this review, give it a like. If you dislike this review, give it a dislike. And if you like my content, do think of subscribing. And if you have a comment, leave below and I'll try to get back to it. And if you can, share this on any social media you've got. X, Facebook, Instagram, even YouTube if you can. I'd really appreciate it. Entertainment Soldier. Bye.